In November 2023, Elon Musk promised a $39,900 truck that would change everything. By December 2024, owners were posting photos of water pooling inside cabins and door handles that froze solid. But the real story isn't about engineering failures. It's the math problem Musk can't solve. And the moment he stops pretending it's solvable. Why would Tesla build a truck it loses money on? And what happens when Wall Street finally asks the question everyone inside Tesla already knows? If you've been following Cybertruck since the hype, you need to see what the financial documents reveal. Hit subscribe before the next video, because we're going deeper into the decision that's already been made. November 21st, 2023. Tesla's design studio in Austin, Texas. Elon Musk walks onto a stage and announces the Cybertruck will start at $39,900. He calls it the future of trucks. Within 7 days, 250,000 people put down deposits. Musk tweets, "Unreal demand." 1 year later, that same truck cost $99,990, a 64% price increase. The range promised at that Austin reveal, 500 plus miles, dropped to 440 miles in the EPA test. And delivery, which Musk said would begin in 2025, started in late November 2024 at the same Giga Texas facility where he made the promise. The first customer vehicles rolled off the line at a rate of 125 trucks per week. Musk had publicly committed to 250,000 units by the end of 2025. The math never worked. Even a fourth grader could see it. By early December 2024, owners were already posting in forums and YouTube comment sections. Panoramic windows filling with condensation inside the seals. Door handles that didn't work. The stainless steel body, which Musk said would never rust, was showing fingerprints, scratches, and brown stains that looked exactly like rust. One owner on the Ishwar Cybertruck subreddit posted a photograph of water pooling inside the cabin after it rained overnight. Another owner in Colorado discovered his door handle had frozen solid at 32 degrees. The truck wouldn't open. This is where the official story, the one Tesla tells investors and journalists, stops. But the real story was already written in spreadsheets no one outside Tesla would see for months. It was in the Q3 earnings call transcript from late October 2024, where the chief financial officer admitted the Cybertruck was not yet profitable. For every single truck that left the factory, Tesla was losing money. Engineers in Detroit had been waiting for this moment. So had Wall Street. The question wasn't whether the Cybertruck had problems. The question was whether Elon Musk had the ability to admit what those problems cost, and whether he had the will to do the one thing his company culture forbade: stop. The stainless steel exoskeleton that Musk had promised would revolutionize truck manufacturing became the first clue. 3 millimeters thick, custom tooling, cast at the Giga Texas facility using a process Tesla called gigaforging, the most complex manufacturing operation the company had ever attempted. Each Cybertruck required 5.5 million individual parts. The labor cost alone ran $35,000 to $45,000 per vehicle. When you added materials, tooling amortization, and the fact that the Austin factory had been built from scratch at a cost of roughly $5 billion, the math became a trap. On that late October earnings call, the chief financial officer didn't use the word trap. He said Cybertruck was in ramp phase, still optimizing. But the spreadsheet told a different story. Gross margin on the vehicle was negative. Tesla was losing money on every single sale. Compare that to what competitors were already doing. Ford's F-150 Lightning started at $55,000, topped out at $99,000, and was already profitable. Rivian's R1T started at $73,000 with a clear path to margin expansion. General Motors hadn't even launched its Sierra EV Denali yet, but the preliminary pricing was $69,000, undercutting Cybertruck and offering a truck that actually looked like a truck. Those companies had 100 years of truck manufacturing in their bones. They understood labor, supply chains, and durability at scale. To make Cybertruck profitable, Tesla would need to either raise prices past $120,000, which made it absurd as a volume vehicle, or cut production costs by 30%. 30%. That meant redesign, retooling, years. By late 2024, Musk's financial team already knew the truth. They could build this truck, or they could make money. But not both. The target customer was never who Musk said it was. Cybertruck buyers skewed 65% male, median age 38, median income $130,000. They were early adopters, tech enthusiasts, venture capitalists buying toys. But actual truck buyers, contractors, ranchers, landscapers in rural Texas and Montana, they bought F-150 Lightnings. They bought Rivian R1Ts. They bought trucks they understood. Cybertrucks arrived in Silicon Valley garages and Miami penthouses, where the owner would drive it twice a month to a dinner reservation. In January 2025, a Cybertruck owner in Culver City, California, posted a photo online. The door handle had frozen solid. 32 degrees, the truck wouldn't open. Tesla had no answer. Similar calls came from Colorado, upstate New York, Minnesota. The vehicle that promised durability couldn't survive winter. Independent testing by Edmunds in January showed the stainless steel was less corrosion-resistant than aluminum. Owners reported visible degradation after 3 months. One owner, who had paid $99,990, said his truck looked 5 years old after 6 months of regular driving. The exoskeleton, the entire design philosophy, was failing. When complaints flooded forums, Musk tweeted that owners should embrace the uniqueness. The internet response was swift and brutal. Even the faithful turned. Subreddits filled with remorse and regret. But here's what most people covering this miss. Cybertruck was never designed for actual truck work. It was designed as a statement, a rebuke to tradition, a middle finger to Detroit. That worked for 8 years while the truck lived in imagination. It collapsed the moment owners had to live inside the reality of it. The truck wasn't killed by engineering. It was killed by honesty, the moment fantasy met the rain. By February 2025, Wall Street started asking questions Tesla couldn't answer. In earnings calls, analysts pressed Musk on Cybertruck's path to profitability. He deflected. The stock price wobbled. Somewhere in a Tesla conference room, a spreadsheet showed the truth. Every Cybertruck built was $1 burned. Model 3 took 4 years to turn a profit. Cybertruck was into year 2 with no profit in sight. If the burn rate held, the company would lose between $8 and $12 billion on this single vehicle by 2027. The Austin Gigafactory, built for this truck, would become a monument to a bad bet. Meanwhile, the real truck market moved on. Rivian shipped the R1T Generation 2 in mid-2025 with better reliability and a $65,000 starting price. Ford refreshed the F-150 Lightning with 500 miles of range. General Motors' Sierra EV arrived on schedule, cheaper and quieter, and built by engineers who had spent a century learning how trucks actually fail. Cybertruck couldn't compete on price. It couldn't compete on durability. It couldn't even compete on the promise that had sold those 250,000 pre-orders, because the promise was never about trucks. It was about defying the past. And the past, it turned out, knew something Musk didn't. By late 2025, discontinuation wasn't a possibility anymore. It was an arithmetic problem waiting to be solved. The only question left was how long Musk would let it bleed before admitting the obvious. Some futures don't arrive. Some just rust in the sun.